In 2008, I shipped Gears of War 2 and left to join WB Games. It's my first day on the job. I'm in the elevator at Monolith, and one of my new teammates asked me why I tried to cut the chainsaw from Gears of War. Fast forward, I launched my YouTube channel, and here we are again. Yes, I'm Laura, the supervillain from the race to E3. Except I'm not, because none of it actually happened. The Race to E3 was a reality TV show, a marketing stunt to get Xbox fans excited about Gears, and it worked. Unfortunately, it created a little cloud, a lie that has followed me around for 18 years. I get it. People are fooled by hoaxes all the time, even in today's world where it's pretty easy to go figure out what someone actually said or did. But I think it's time to set the record straight, hopefully for the last time. Let's dive into what really happened. First, a little context. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, this is the Lancer, the signature weapon of Gears of War, and the place where the Chainsaw Hoax begins. I think Arthur, in the Gears of War retrospective, sums it up pretty well. It was the quintessential David versus Goliath story of a scrappy, independent group of artists triumphing over the corporate overlords at Microsoft and Xbox. It was also bullshit. The year is 2006, and we're a few months from shipping Gears of War as an exclusive Xbox 360 title for holiday.
Microsoft has one punch to throw before the juggernaut of the PlayStation 3 launches, and Gears is that punch.
Xbox has pulled out all the stops, and they're spending millions on this flagship title, including creating a reality TV show called The Race to E3. The idea was simple. Let's give our audience a sneak peek about what it's really like to work on Gears of War. The filmmakers would have full access. The laughter, the tears, the fights. They would have a front seat to all of the drama. Nothing was off limits. When marketing pitched the idea, I was really worried. We were working crazy hours, and we didn't need more drama. We needed focus. Good game producers reduce conflict. Reality TV shows, not so much. In the end, we decided it was worth it, and the crew set up at Epic. We wanted the focus to be on them. They were making the game, and we wanted them to be the heroes. So that's what happened. The movie crew put mics on all the key staff and in the conference rooms, and then waited for the inevitable disagreement to come up. Except that it didn't, because game development is not like reality TV. As Rod said in 2019, I felt really bad for them because at Epic we had very, very, very minor conflict. We weren't a flip a table, slam a door place. I think there was one door slam in the entire original Gears of War situation. It was a problem. What could the production crew do? Create a reality TV show that wasn't dramatic? No, of course they couldn't do that. So they started making things up. Like this.
I want to borrow the Lamborghini. Going downtown with some friends, and I kind of told them I had a cool car. I'll bring it back intact.
All right.
I heard that you can basically get up to 80 in first.
Yeah, don't do that.
Tim, I assure you she's in good hands. Open.
Gently.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it.
But even that wasn't enough. They needed something more. They needed a villain. So they decided to come and film at Microsoft.
My name is Laura Fryer, and I'm an executive producer at Microsoft. My job is to really help make sure that all of the groups working on Gears of War are well coordinated.
I was surprised. I thought the movie crew was just trying to be nice and grab a little B-roll footage of our team so that we felt included. I thought that because they had been filming at Epic for like 6 weeks, and then they showed up into our office and they spent about 4 hours. I didn't even think we would make the final show. I certainly had no idea that I was going to be the villain, but I was. They decided to take a minor disagreement and turn it into the Chainsaw Hoax. Let me explain what the actual disagreement was, and then we'll go behind the scenes to see how they manufactured their narrative. There were two things going on that they blended together in order to create their hoax. The first was a disagreement over the trailer that we were putting together for E3.
For a time, the humans of Sarah knew the illusion of peace. Until Emergence Day.
Before every major event, most game companies will do a trailer to show off the game. The marketing team was working with Epic to put together the trailer, and as often happens with creative work, they had a disagreement, specifically about the ending. Epic wanted this to be the final shot of the trailer. Microsoft wanted it to be this. Epic's perspective was that we should end with the signature weapon. This key moment was the perfect way to sell the game. Microsoft's perspective was that they wanted a call to action at the end of the trailer. Simply put, Marcus is being overwhelmed. He needs your help, you should go buy the game, and you can help him defeat the Locust Horde. That was the entire disagreement. Of course, none of it made it into the show. The second drama going on was that we were trying to get the Lancer to work in the E3 demo build. Right? Everyone's going to show up at E3, they're going to play the game, and we wanted that signature weapon in there. But that wasn't going well because we were behind.
There's some things that are open issues that we just need to get decisions on, because I think multiplayer's got a ton of work to be done. Co-op wasn't functional as of 1 a.m. last night. And single player, there's some stuff we want to do in terms of VO and things like that Nash is resistant against, that we need to make that decision, make that stuff happen in the next 4 hours. My biggest concerns leading up to E3, well, getting the demo done.
So we're going to have about 800 press go through this, and they're going to expect something that is ready to ship, right? I'd hate for everybody to say it was beautiful, but it really was lacking polish.
I think my job is on the line for Epic Games if we don't do well at this show.
It was a day-to-day debate on the team on whether or not we would be able to get it done. And that was the setup that created the Chainsaw Hoax. They took a disagreement about the trailer and the discussion regarding the E3 game demo, and they turned it into Laura tried to cut the chainsaw from the game. Most people know that editors have been using tricks for years to create the narrative they want. By taking these two issues and blending them using audio edits and cutaways, they created the hoax. Remember, 18 years ago, YouTube and the other social media platforms were just getting started. It was difficult to go and figure out that a lot of the reality TV shows and news stories that you were seeing were actually fake. Today, you have resources to verify things for yourself. Let's break things down by reviewing some of the key clips from the show to see exactly how they created the hoax. Let me set up this shot. This is a meeting with the publishing leads at Microsoft at that time. You have Bonnie, who is my boss, and you have Kevin, the art lead. We're talking about the trailer and the process around approvals. That is what this entire conversation was about. Let's take a look.
With Epic, we've had a lot of back and forth with Epic. I think we have a pretty good approval. The only big issue still outstanding is Rod and Epic still want the chainsaw. So I'm going to work on that.
We'll manage that. I think we can manage through it.
The next clip is from the playtest lab at Microsoft. We had just gotten the latest build for E3 and we were playtesting it and we found a bug.
Yep. You're about to be.
I just got paused.
Good start. Hopefully we're all in.
Was that it?
I think they dropped in the chainsaw again, and I think it was the chainsaw blood spray that you were seeing. We'll just say a gratuitous amount of blood.
It is vitally important that that one gets fixed.
Yeah, I suspect that one will be fixed. We'll get that one logged in as soon as we get back, because like they said, Epic feels that the chainsaw is a good representation of what Gears kind of represents.
The bug that was found during the playtest was a broken particle emitter. The emitter was supposed to turn on and have blood going when you went and you chainsawed a locust. Fortunately, it was on all the time, so there was blood spewing everywhere. Of course, that looks like a bug, and it makes it really hard to see what you're doing if you're the player, so we had to fix that for E3. It's not unusual when you're moving fast and getting ready for E3 to find bugs like this. In this next clip, they're taking two conversations and blending them together through cutaways. Rod is talking about the demo in the beginning, and then they cut to the phone and clip in an entirely different part of the call where we're talking about the trailer.
We made today that affects gameplay is that we need to get the chainsaw attack in. So we basically have made a priority decision that we're prioritizing the chainsaw attack over grenades and over pistol. It's what makes Gears Gears, and we need to have that moment at E3.
Peter Moore not fine with the chainsaw. Well, I guess Peter Moore's contention about the saw is that it's a little, over the top gory.
That's exactly what the kind of branding we were going for, I thought.
We understand that. So does Peter.
that's not something that we can change at this point because the ship has already sailed. We were very concerned about the chainsaw. It gets kind of gratuitous.
By the way, this is the trademark weapon for the game. This is going to be in the demo. This is the way that Epic wants to convey this intimate violence in the game, and that's why we feel really strongly to have an assault rifle with a chainsaw bayonet. I just don't feel like the right people are championing the message.
You have to wonder about something as you're watching all of this. If I had literally said we needed to cut the chainsaw from the game, don't you think someone would have that on video? I mean, that would have completely closed the deal and made the case. Well, I didn't say it because it never happened, and that is why they had to do all of these cutaways and all these tricks to try to make you believe something that never happened. Also, anytime you see me in this environment, that was at E3. By the time we went to E3, they had their hoax planned out, but they needed more footage to land it. So by asking the right questions of all of the people at E3, they were able to tie everything together and create their hoax. In this next shot, we're talking about the two issues around the trailer and around the demo. And of course, they both focus on the chainsaw.
The chainsaw is really important to Epic because they consider it the feature weapon in their game. And so for them, they really wanted to show that and have people remember that. So Rod and Epic still want the chainsaw. So
And Tim as well.
Are you cool with that, though?
Well, I'm very cool with it.
We really do have to cut the chainsaw.
Yeah,
And I knew that was going to be a problem, but there you go.
Well, but wait till it's done, because it's silly to try to cut it and say this will look really good when they're done. So, I mean, we know what you want, and I know it will make some people at Microsoft nervous because they don't have it in their hands, but it's not going to suck no matter what. No.
Okay.
Microsoft, in the end of the day, they're a publisher who understands that it's about making a fun game. They understand the tension. Their job is to push, and our job is to pull, but we both respect that.
You see, when you're doing game development and you start having problems, you have to make hard decisions. And sometimes that means you have to do things like take the Lancer out until you can get it working.
We have a bad show at E3, and it doesn't matter what we do in the next 4 months. No one's going to believe that the stinker of a game came out great and we got it out for holiday. If it sucks, we're dead.
This next clip is the final playtest at Epic, where the chainsaw is finally working in the game. It's a huge moment of triumph. It's a great moment in the video. Let's watch.
I'm hoping everything's been pulled together for this final playtest. A lot of the things that were broken were relatively easy fixes, but as I've said before, game development's a house of cards. Change one thing, change everything. It's either going to go great and we're going to be able to play it, or it's going to be a total cluster.
Chainsaw guys, you gotta be able to use the shotgun when you're in close. Like, that's really annoying.
At E3, I would rather have journalists use the chainsaw too much than not enough.
It's a really cool moment in the Gears universe, grabbing that chainsaw and just ripping through someone. It's visceral, and that's what our games are about. It's something that everybody's been wanting to do for a long time, and Cliff's been fighting for it, and it's awesome. I mean, Cliff was right. It's awesome.
I mean, you've got some serious polish issues, and you guys know that, but I think it's showable, which is, I mean, it's 100% more playable than it was yesterday.
As Mike said, not everyone is convinced the Lancer as a weapon would work, and Cliff had to fight for that throughout game development. You see, when you start a game, you have a million, hey, wouldn't that be cool, ideas. You do. That's just how game development works. But you don't know something's going to make it and be great until you've actually done it. And this brings us to the ending of the show, where Cliff has his moment of triumph on stage, and then they cut to me talking about creative differences making things better.
Epic delivered, Epic over-delivered. They did a great job for E3, and I think that creative difference, that conflict, is the way you get a better game. I love chainsawing people.
I'm really happy with what we brought to the show. The demo that Cliff did, I think we definitely got across what we wanted to get across.
After the demo, they teed up Bill Gates at E3 to kind of close out the show. I don't know what they actually said to Bill. They might have had him play the game. Maybe one of his nerds played it and kind of explained to him what was going on so he could talk about the chainsaw. I don't know, but I do think it turned out really well for closing out the hoax.
I love that chainsaw.
I had to fight for that. I had to fight for it, man. But it's a chocolate and a peanut butter for me, right? It's like it's a gun with a chainsaw, right? So it works out really well. So
how's it look for shipping this fall?
We'll make it happen.
Fantastic. We're counting on you.
Have a great show.
It's great that everybody loved the demo, but now we have to ship the product. We got to get it done. We got to nail it.
Can I get a quick photo? Sure.
So that was the show. I was sent a few clips of the show before it aired on TV. I remember it because I was visiting my parents that weekend and I wasn't able to download most of them. The FTP server and the login weren't working. My parents didn't have broadband yet. It was a mess. I really never saw the whole show before it released. When the show finally aired, I was really shocked. It's not like someone had sat me down and said, "Hey, we're going to make you the villain of this reality TV show. Are you cool with it?" So when it aired, I was so stunned that at first it didn't even dawn on me how bad it made me look. And my cope was that nobody would believe it. I know, crazy, but you have to understand. Everyone knew I loved playing games. This is me with my boyfriend, now husband. We were about to play Dandy on this Atari 130XE in my parents' basement. Gaming is still our entertainment of choice. When Doom 2 released, we wanted to play through together, so we did, over a null modem. Except we didn't have a null modem, so we had to make it. The idea that I wouldn't like a chainsaw or wouldn't see the value of that type of a weapon after playing hours of Doom 2, that was ludicrous. I also happen to be a tree farmer, and yes, I like real chainsaws too. But the audience didn't know all of this. Nobody outside of my teams knew who I was. It was easy for show creators to push an easy-to-believe narrative about a clueless woman that clearly doesn't play games following a clueless Microsoft executive. And here's the other thing I never really thought about until later, is that the hoax was more believable because Microsoft was putting on the reality TV show. If you're just an audience member watching, you're going to think that it's true because why would Microsoft talk about two of its key contributors in such a terrible way and make them look bad? They wouldn't do that, right? Except they did, because that's exactly what happened. I still have no idea who approved the video, who thought it was okay to throw my reputation under the bus. I know it wasn't Epic. They had no idea. We had a great relationship. Here's Mike after Gears 1 Game of the Year at GDC.
Goes to Gears of War.
And then, of course, I'd really like to thank Microsoft one more time. Everybody sort of makes the obligatory, oh, the publisher, they paid for it, cheers. But Gears of War wouldn't happen the way it did without the fantastic support of Microsoft. I know there's a lot of folks here from Microsoft Game Studios. I know Laura Fryer's over there sitting with us, and she always gets to watch me accept the awards. But you should stand up, and everybody else from MGS should too, because they put their heart and soul, and a lot of put their asses on the line for this game. And, you know, we just had a fantastic partnership, so thanks very much.
Would he have said that if I had tried to cut the Lancer from the game? No. I also know it wasn't Peter Moore because I remember him calling me after it aired to ask me what the heck was going on. At the end of the day, I was shocked and I was tired. I just wanted to ship Gears and I wanted Gears of War to be successful. So what I decided to do was just walk away and not pursue it. I decided to take one for the team and hope that it would blow over. But it didn't. Immediately following the show, the internet haterade turned me into the chainsaw hating hag. People were pretty mean, and here we are 18 years later, and this hoax is still circling around YouTube. Here is a video from 2020 by What Culture Gaming. It's a great video, by the way, but it is based on a hoax.
The Lancer almost got cut.
I understand. It isn't easy. Even experienced YouTubers like the Ackman can be fooled. This was posted a few weeks ago.
It's funny because a few days before E3, Microsoft executive Peter Moore felt the Chainsaw Lancer was too gratuitous and gory, and he suggested that Epic remove it from the demo.
Peter Moore's comments were always about the trailer. Ever since that first day at Monolith, I've wondered how many people never brought this issue up because they were too kind to ask and to find out what really happened. Did it cost me jobs? Did it cost me promotions? Did people think that I was an idiot in the games industry all of these years? I'll never know, but I do know that it has changed me forever. If I see someone's reputation being destroyed online, I try to go figure out what's true and what really happened, because I would want the same thing for myself. 2019, the record was set straight in this book, which if you like Gears is a great read. I give the author and guy from Microsoft a lot of credit for correcting the record. When they first asked me to interview for the book, I almost passed, but I decided to take a risk and trust them, and they didn't let me down. I'm also thankful that Microsoft finally let us tell the truth about what really happened. Big companies don't like to admit to mistakes like these.
That is satisfying. And all of a sudden you see this tide turn of every publisher is then developing for the Xbox 360.
If you've stayed with me to hear the full story, I appreciate it. This has been bugging me personally for a long time, and I'm really hopeful that this will finally, once and for all, kill the Chainsaw Hoax. Thank you.